Boxing Day does not mean only giving out this gift.
Correspondent on Boxing Day. Why is it called Boxing Day and the reason for its celebration?
I've not experienced any queues at any filling station.
The usual end-of-year queues at filling stations disappear as Nigerians commend federal government. On special assignment, correspondent finds out the fate of convicted lawmakers in the eyes of the law. And the series begin, Nigeria's sports in 2019. Hello, good evening and welcome to the NTN Network News. I am Joseph Johnson. Reading with me tonight, I have Michael Olale in Lagos and Obehi Otobo Presai is in Benin, and of course Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila in Sokoto will also join us a little later. Thanks so much for joining us and compliments of the season. While Christmas is generally linked to the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, Boxing Day, however, seems to have diverse meanings and interpretations across nations of the world. In this report, Oluseye Adeagbo went on a fact-finding mission on what Boxing Day is all about, its religious perspectives and connotations.
Well, boxing, like this.
Yes, it is Boxing Day, and
Yes.
Awuyele Oluwaseun
Day to
is
box.
expecting to see the exchange of blows. From all indications, the boxing gloves is still hanged up somewhere far away from this location. Now, what does Boxing Day mean to the door of Emmanuel Okabi and Favor Essay?
I don't know.
Well, I do not know much about Boxing Day, but in all, I just came here today to have fun.
Let's go back a bit to the history book. Every year, the 26th of December is observed the world over as the Boxing Day. Its origin is rooted in the British traditions, and in Ireland, the day is called St. Stephen's Day. History also has it that in the British Commonwealth, the servants of the Waldo families had to work on Christmas Day, and their services were usually rewarded with gift boxes that were only allowed to be opened the next day, which was an off work to spend time with their families. Here in Nigeria, the Boxing Day is usually a public holiday, and many, irrespective of the background, take advantage of the day to spend time with their loved ones. The resident imam of Nasfat Central Mosque Abuja, Ibrahim Akalambi, and chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria North Central, Israel Akombi, who both gave the Islamic and Christian perspective to Boxing Day, said the lessons of the season is of goodwill, fairness to all, and sustaining brotherly love.
Opening of gift itself is a task. Now the significance is just this: God so loved the world and he gave his son to us, and we who have received this gift of God in his son Jesus Christ are supposed to love God and love our neighbors.
Boxing Day does not mean only giving out this gift. It's telling us about the goodness, to be kind to the people.
They also admonished Nigerians to shun any act that can negate the peaceful coexistence while encouraging citizens to embrace the spirit of patriotism to achieve the growth and advancement they desire. In Abuja, Oluseye Adeagbo, NTA News.
In the spirit of Christmas, the NTA Enugu Network Center has organized a party for children tagged NTA 2019 Christmas Fun Fair. The party drew children from different social and economic backgrounds who gathered at NTA premises to socialize and have fun with Santa Claus. Goodness Matsul reports that adults were also not left out in the event.
This Rosag Christmas Fun Fair was indeed fun-filled. It attracted children within and outside Enugu. The event featured presentation by children, including talent hunt, drama, lucky dip. The Zonal Director NTA Enugu Network Center, Chief Benny Modi, on behalf of the management and staff, welcomed the children and their parents. She advised parents to dedicate more of their time for the proper upbringing of their children.
I'm using this occasion to ask you to please spare some time for these children. When the parents, especially mothers, pay attention to these children at this age, the common saying is you catch them young. In this case, you teach them right.
The high point of the event was the cutting of the Christmas cake by the children born in the month of December. In Enugu, Goodness Marcel, NTA News.
Meanwhile, personnel of the Nigerian Air Force have been commended for the significant progress made in 2019 in winning the war against terrorism. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by the Chief of Training and Operations, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, via Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amao, gave the commendation at a luncheon organized for airmen and women to commemorate this year's Christmas celebration. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
The luncheon, organized by the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, is basically to ensure that troops on the front line are not left out of the Christmas celebration towards boosting their morale in defeating the remnants of Boko Haram insurgents. Delivering the Chief of Air Staff message, Chief of Training and Operations, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amao highlighted series of successes recorded by troops in the theater in the year under review and charged them to sustain aggressive operations for the restoration of complete normalcy to Borno and the Northeast region in general.
For the operations we are conducting now, we expect them to redouble their efforts so that we can bring this
Sorry about the sudden end to that report. Well, Christmas Day ended on a fatal note for a family of 5 when their vehicle crashed along Kubwa-Gwarimpa Expressway, burning all occupants to death. Kama, who was at the scene of the accident, reports.
Victims of the accident, which happened about 11 p.m. on Christmas Day, it was gathered that all burnt beyond recognition. Eyewitness account has it that the ill-fitted SUV was on top speed before it skidded off track, somersaulted 3 times, ramming into a pillar on the flyover before the popular Charlie Boy pedestrian bridge along Kubwa Expressway. The vehicle, as narrated, was engulfed by fire immediately.
He just missed control from that red car position, so the car drawn him up to this pillar. So after he just mashed the pillar, the motor just turned. So after the engine burst, he just catch fire. Everybody gone inside the motor.
It's 5 family, 2 small children, 1 year.
Onlookers around the scene, however, picked up the vehicle particulars, which indicated the vehicle's registration number as KUJ 615TU.
The number. Where is it? Give me a bag.
615TU. Police, men of the Federal Road Safety Commission, and kind-hearted individuals who rushed to the scene couldn't do much.
When the incident happened, my attention was drawn to it, and I immediately called our rescue teams to go there.
Road users are reminded that caution remains the watchword in the festive season. Kama, NTA News.
Well, let's talk about road safety, because after a critical review of the first phase of the 2019 special end-of-year patrols, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, calls on the motoring public to sustain their obedience to traffic rules and regulations as the second phase of the exercise commences in earnest. The Corps Marshal also commends the Corps across the country for demonstrating absolute commitment, professionalism and innovativeness in managing the massive traffic movement recorded before the Christmas celebration. According to him, the fact that traffic movements were orderly in most parts of the dreaded points across the Federation towards the festivities and no reported cases of commuters sleeping on the road till the following day were reported is a positive development. Oyeyemi particularly urged those leading convoy vehicles to show greater restraint while passing through congested and built-up areas to avoid causing disorderliness that could result to traffic chaos, and expresses gratitude to other security agencies for collaborating with the Corps in ensuring orderliness in challenging areas across the country. The availability of fuel during the festive period across the country has continued to generate positive reactions from Nigerians. Abubakar Usman Akwanga brings in reports from across the states.
8 long queues at fuel stations during Yuletide became part of life in Nigeria until the present administration tackled it head-on. For about 4 consecutive years now, the season comes and goes without people spending nights on queue at fuel stations. Reports from across the country show that Nigerians are enthused about the development. From Calabar, Maureen Liu Adjon reports that major independent oil marketers dispense PMS at the approved pump price of 145 naira per litre, a situation that brought succor to many Nigerians during the period.
We know that we have action president in this country. 2016 we have issue of petrol in Cross River State, but in 2019, in December, he tried too much.
This is the first time in Nigeria now, since 1999, that we are having something like this.
With the closure of the borders, it makes it difficult for them to, leave some of the fuels outside, in the night.
Bashir Ibrahim Nabada from Dusi reports that the usual perennial scarcity associated with the product during Yuletide disappeared as major fuel stations within and outside the state capital made adequate arrangement for the product.
I can testify that there is change, most especially in this sector, because this is what I have seen to be real.
The story was the same in Port Harcourt, as Ijoma Wiki reports that motorists experience free entry and exit from fuel stations across the state and express satisfaction with the development.
Fuel supply is normal, everything is working well. No queue, no nothing.
No price hike, nothing, and no scarcity of fuel.
Chinaza John reports from Abakaliki that stakeholders' intervention on energy security and access of the product from major depot in the country brought about the empty queue experienced during the festive period.
The government has been able to manage the flow of fuel and the fuel distribution. We've not had any queues. I've not experienced any queues at any filling station.
There's no increase in fuel price whatsoever. I bought yesterday, even this morning, I think I bought no increase at all. So I think we thank the government for that.
We have increased our surveillance activities this period to ensure that the products are not hoarded or diverted.
Nigerians appeal to federal government to sustain the regime of surplus beyond the Yuletide. Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, it's 4 months since the federal government closed Nigeria's land borders to combat massive smuggling activities and other illegal transport activities undermining the economy and security of the country. How has the country fared since that decision? Well, Victor Azu evaluates the effects of the closure on the petroleum sector.
2 separate arrests in May 2019. Officers and men of the Nigerian Navy saved Nigeria tens of millions of naira. The first arrest of 5 Nigerians and 3 Ghanaians was for allegedly attempting to smuggle 105 drums of PMS from Nigeria to Cameroon, while the other nabbed 8 men trying to smuggle more than 200,000 litres of petroleum products valued at over 50 million naira out of Nigeria. The products were alleged to have been sourced from different parts of the oil-rich Niger Delta.
Illegal refining sites were destroyed by the operation, resulting in the arrest of 62 speedboats and 275 suspects for involvement in either crude oil theft or illegal bunkering.
Arrests like these notwithstanding, smugglers have remained largely undeterred in their apparent lucrative trade of cross-border fuel smuggling, owing to the obvious differential in petrol price between Nigeria and neighboring countries. After a series of unsuccessful engagements with officials of neighboring countries to check smuggling of petroleum products, the illegal activity persisted and even reached alarming dimensions.
Number of petrol stations that makes you wonder, too close to the borderline. Some of them, you see the discharge pump facing the other side. Doing what?
Reports from the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency reveals that Nigeria's fuel supply had dropped to an average of 48.54 million litres daily from 61 million litres before the closure of the borders.
There has been a downward trucking out of products from our depots. What we have seen before the border closure on the 28th of August was a truck out of about 55 million litres a day. And now we are looking at about 51 million litres a day.
However, with pressure mounting from neighboring countries for Nigeria to reconsider, how long more can the border closure be sustained? Yet, more importantly, how much more can the gains of the ongoing border closure be sustained? In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
The military seems to be the most beneficiary of the Presidential Order 5, aimed at promoting indigenous technologies and local content. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa highlights some of the milestones so far recorded in this regard.
Globally, militaries are partly rated based on their ability to develop or acquire their needed hardwares to prosecute operations. In view of the nation's emerging security challenge, capital-intensive nature of the arsenal, and in line with federal government's local content policy, the Nigerian Army commenced massive research and development of needed hard and softwares to cut down cartel fight. This locally produced mine-resistant ambush-protected MRAP vehicle, nicknamed Eziokwu, is a product of collaboration between Defense Industry Corporation (DICON) and the Nigerian Army.
Presidential directive was to involve a professional, well-respected, highly motivated and people-centric Nigerian Army that will have the requisite capability and capacity to respond adequately in a timely manner to solve the myriad of contemporary and future security threats.
With customized reinforced suspension system, off-road capacity suitable for the northeast difficult terrain, the combat vehicle is produced from a high-grade ballistic material.
The Eziokwu MRAP is so cheap, equivalent of about 10 imported ones, and is very effective.
Not only creating employment for the people, because I understand it's 100% locally manufactured. So that gives jobs to our youths, engineers, and the like.
What necessitated Eziokwu brand is the consummation of one's intention to provide troops with protection against small arms and to also protect them against improvised explosive device, which is a potent threat to the army or troops in the counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism operation in the north.
While in the engineering depot Kaduna, I was opportune to meet an ongoing upgrade of a locally fabricated helicopter by the depot.
So this helicopter was in Mongonu, but we have upgraded by improving on the capacity of the engine, and we have also been able to now purchase the swash plate, part of the pitch link and the rotor, which we are now trying to install on the helicopter so as to further continue with our research and development of the helicopter.
These developments are fast-tracking ongoing internal security operations and the nation's military-industrial complex. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the government and people of Burkina Faso who suffered a deadly terrorist attack which claimed 35 citizens that Nigeria and the West African sub-region will not abandon them to their fate. Speaking on the attack carried out on Tuesday in Arbinda, northern part of the country, in a statement by the senior special assistant to the president.
28 December 2019, venue is Palace Square, Ojabai Igbo. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Executive Governor of Oyo State. Royal Father of the Day, His Imperial Majesty OBTD. Announcer.
What we are really cultivating here is a better future for all Nigerian women, and it's not always easy. Panadol Extra relieves headache, backache, joint pain, toothache, and menstrual pain. The pain is worth it.
You're still watching NTN Network News. Let's turn our attention now to the judiciary, where the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos recently convicted the former governor of Abia State and Chief Whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor Kalu. He is currently serving 12 years prison term as handed down by the court at the Kirikiri Correctional Facility in Lagos. What is the position of the law on a member of the Senate, now an ex-convict? Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk provides answers to that question.
Tonight, Constitution under Section 308 grants immunity to the President, Vice President, governors and their deputies from criminal prosecution. However, members of the National Assembly are not exempted from criminal prosecution while in office. One of the prerequisites for eligibility for aspiring for the position of office in the National Assembly is that one must not have been an ex-convict. However, if the aspirant to the office is standing trial for an offense bordering on fraud and dishonesty and has been convicted as long as he has exercised his right of appeal by challenging his conviction at the Court of Appeal, his eligibility to stand for election is, however, not vitiated.
The Constitution has provided under Section 66 that if somebody has been convicted for financial misconduct, he is not qualified. However, if he has an appeal pending, there will be no disqualification.
But now, he is still a member until the period within which he should appeal to the Court of Appeal would have lapsed, or the appeal would have been determined.
The 1999 Constitution, as amended, further envisages that an elected officer is subject to the rule of law. This was provided for under Section 68, subsection 1b of the Constitution. Flowing from the Constitution, what happens to the seat of a parliamentarian that is convicted, as in the case of Joshua Dariye, a member of the 8th Senate, and recently the former governor of Abia State, Orji Uzor Kalu, who is the chief whip of the 9th Senate.
So once he files an appeal, he will remain a member of the National Assembly until the appeal is determined.
If you are in the parliament and you are convicted and you are on appeal, it does mean that Section 68B or thereabout will not be applicable.
The lacuna created by the absence of a parliamentarian voted by his people to represent their interests and expected to meet the mandatory 1/3 sitting obligation needs to be attended to. Therefore, can a convicted parliamentarian still discharge these constitutional duties while serving a prison term in a correctional service facility?
When a senator is convicted and sent to prison, and the amount of time he'll be spending in prison is such that will affect his tenure, either largely in saying this is going to come for like 2-3 years, or maybe even half of those. I mean, people deserve effective representation. For me, at that point, if the sentence and the jail term is long enough to emasculate effective representation, which is the intent of being a senator, then that senator should automatically lose his seat.
This is the final arbiter on this matter. If this court upholds the decision of the trial court after its appeal at the appellate court, in line with Section 68B of the 1999 Constitution as amended, Orji Uzor Kalu automatically loses his seat as a senator. However, if the apex court pronounces otherwise, he maintains his seat. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Dele, thank you for enlightening us on that matter. Meanwhile, the world today is driven by technology, and unfortunately, accessibility to ICT facilities and their applications by students in the rural communities have remained a challenge for the future development of the region. To address this challenge, though, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, as part of its commitment towards improving the situation, has donated a modular science laboratory and an ICT center to secondary schools in Brass local government area of Bayelsa State. Fred Oweifie tells us more.
Adequate or unavailability of ICT facility and laboratory equipment is identified to be largely responsible for poor performance in certain subjects among students in rural schools. With the donation and commissioning of a modular science laboratory at Government Model Secondary School, Tuon Brass, and an ICT center at Government Secondary School, Okwama, by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, these students can now get set to compete with counterparts in the best schools.
This is the first time we are having a well-furnished lab, and we are very happy about it. And we also want to thank NTDMB for the infrastructure.
Equipment of this nature will actually add to the education of the students.
Executive Secretary NCDMB Simbi Wabuta says the board is committed to supporting the educational aspiration of secondary school students at the grassroots.
In our strategy going forward is to encourage STEM education as well as ICT in secondary schools across the country.
Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board has been commended for investing on the future of students, as the school authority was urged to make judicious use of the facilities.
I want to say thank you to him for going beyond his core mandate.
Fred Owefie, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari joins the media, particularly the advertising industry, friends, family members and professional associates in celebrating foremost advertising practitioner and chairman of the Troy Car Holdings, Biodun Shobanjo, on his 75th birthday. The president congratulates the marketing communications consultant for years of lofty achievements following his investments in an integral part of the economy that has created jobs, equipped many with skills for startups and attracted the global spotlight. President Buhari congratulates Shobanjo, whose wealth of experience and knowledge he believes will continue to inspire entrepreneurship in more people, and prays that the Almighty God will grant the advertising experts longer life, good health and more wisdom to keep investing in the country and her citizens. And President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule on his 60th birthday, urging him to make good governance his priority in order to leave a lasting and favorable legacy. The president, who wishes the governor many more years in good health and prosperity, advises him not to rest on his oars, as the task of fulfilling campaign promises is even greater than the campaign efforts. More internally displaced persons of Bakassi origin in Cross River State have been empowered with skills aimed at improving their livelihood and making them self-reliant. The skill acquisition program put together by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons also equipped beneficiaries with starter packs on soap making.
The empowerment program came with a lot of hope and succor for the returnees in Akwa Ikoreyoidem and that of Ikorefi Mubuton. The package, which coincides with the Yellow Tide, would not only boost their income, but will also ameliorate their sufferings.
We so much appreciate National Commission for Refugees and Migrants.
This training has helped us a lot because we will be able to use our hands to produce things.
Government still need to help us so that we may climb a good ladder.
We will carry out a series of trainings for them to ensure that they have a means of livelihood.
Some of the items presented to the returnees include measurement scales, soap mixer, safety kits, chemicals, as well as 7,600 kVA generators. In Calabar, Erika Evie, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News on the NTA. Let's take a breather here as we join Michael in Lagos for stories from that axis. Compliments of the season, Michael. Hope you didn't go about boxing no one in the office today.
Of the season, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. The stars shone brightly in form of 10 million lights across the vicinity of the household of God Church, Oregun, Lagos on Christmas Day. Imole Ayotekede reports that the sparkle was a befitting ambience for the ministry's annual Hallelujah Night, which had members projecting their favorite Bible characters.
These bright lights that run through the routes leading to the church premises and everywhere around the imposing worship structure, as well as car parks, is why it is called the Night of 10 Million Lights. are naturally drawn to lights, and so the worshippers who were in awe captured the moment. Founder, Household of God Church, the initiator of the concept, gave us a guided tour of the majestic arrangement.
This is a night of 10 million lights, reminiscent of the heavens. The one who created and established the Federation of Luminaries and marshaled them in their starry circuit and echelons to declare the glory of God and show forth his handiwork. That's what we are doing. That's what we are emulating. This is a microcosm of the heavens. So at Christmas, we know that the posture is to look heavenward, and that's why we have brought all these lights.
I'm sure you're fascinated by the royal presentation of Pastor Chris Okotie. Well, he is assembled in the likeness of the biblical Joseph from the book of Genesis. Just like their spiritual leader, worshippers showed up in Bible characters, which is the dress code for the Hallelujah party. From the temple guards to King David, pregnant Elizabeth, Ruth, Eve, and many more. Members of the congregation were divided into 12 groups, which represents the months of the calendar. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
Impersonation is a growing trend among criminally minded individuals, and they spread their dragnets to many sectors, including the military. Lynn Neneke reports on 3 suspected imposters who were nabbed by the Nigerian Air Force in Lagos.
The 3 suspects were paraded at the Nigerian Air Force Base, Ikeja. They were arrested for allegedly forging fake identity card of the Nigerian Air Force, which they used in defrauding some victims of their valuables in the Ajao Estate area of Lagos State. The suspects had in their possession computers and other equipment for producing various military and paramilitary identity cards, as well as other gadgets allegedly used in committing other crimes.
On Saturday, my gentleman just come and meet me that they were looking for coin day, and they told me that he's snapping the Oga picture. So I said, okay, no while we take on teach, train for my place with that.
He said I should assist him so that he'll be able to collect his money. So I say, Oga, if I assist you, I know what things that will put me in trouble. And I said, also will put me in trouble. I did it for him. For the past 2 years, I've never set my eyes on him again.
The service will not condone any act capable of negating its core values or that tarnish its image, either by its personnel or any other individual.
The Air Force implored the public to immediately report any such suspected imposters to the nearest police station. In Lagos, Lynn Neneke, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Cultivating hair is a better future for all Nigerian women, and it's not always easy. Panadol Extra relieves headache, backache, joint pain.
NNPC and the Chevron Nigeria Limited have executed agreements over the multi-billion-dollar Escrovos gas to liquid project. Group Managing Director of NNPC, Melekiari, says Chevron Nigeria Limited would boost the domestic gas market. He acknowledged the roles played by President Muhammadu Buhari and the Chairman Senate Committee on Gas, Senator Basi Akpan, which he noted culminated into the execution of the agreements.
It will work for all of us. It will add value to our country, and ultimately the jobs that it will create, further jobs that it can create, and also the opportunities that it will unlock.
Gone are the days when the gas was fled in the field, and all the efforts are in gear to monetize that gas. And EGTL, what it helps to do is to enable that commercialization, monetization of our gas resources.
Let's take you to Sokoto Network Center now, where Abdurrahman Usman Jabila is standing by with more reports.
Good evening. Christmas activities have continued in Sokoto with Christians spreading message of love and peace. Muhammad Nasir went around the metropolis and has this report.
Boxing Day is the day after Xmas. Though there were no activities at many churches, the God's Own Ministry held a morning service. Away from church service, Clergymen under the auspices of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria gathered to celebrate the season after a year round of religious activities. Pastors and their loved ones eat, drink, and share joy to fellow Christians.
Today we refer to it as Boxing Day. What that really means is that today is a day when you are supposed to unveil the box. Yes, Christmas is all about celebration. It's all about love for one another. Set out today after Christmas to share love. Love is so powerful because it cuts across different barriers.
NTA Sokoto Network Center was not left behind in the festivities as Children's Xmas Party was organized, where children and their parents had fun. As Boxing Day entails spreading love among people, Christian Corpus Fellowship of Nigeria spent the day at the Sokoto Orphanage.
We just proceeded from the prison to this place. So it's a season of love, the season where Jesus Christ was born. So we just came because he asked us to extend the love to everybody in the society.
Gifts were presented to orphans to make them part of the celebration. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
The wife of Zamfara State Governor Hajia Aisha Bello Muhammad has presented 500 Ankara fabrics to the state branch of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Women Wing, in the spirit of Christmas celebration. This is aimed at supporting beneficiaries to celebrate the festivities with ease. Sadia Abubakar has the report.
Christmas, which is an annual Christian festival celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, is observed on 25th of December. Christmas in Nigeria is a time of great joy when families get together to celebrate. It is with this view that the First Lady of Zamfara State, Hajia Aisha Bello, presented Christian women in the state with 500 Ankara fabric to make their celebration more joyful. Presenting the gifts on behalf of the First Lady, State PDP women leader Aisha Waziri said the gesture is aimed at promoting unity and harmony between the religious groups in the state. Some of the women who expressed pleasure over the gesture prayed for the success of Governor Bello's administration.
He brings many good things in this Zamfara, which we cannot be able to table, but we give thanks to everything, because it's only God that lets him, and not man. Number one, he brings peace in this Zamfara, and they bring unity. This is the first time that they follow us to church with wrappers that I can give to women in the state. His Excellency gave us rice, gave us cow, in order to see that we did the Christmas successfully.
Sadia Abubakar, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. Back to Joseph in Abuja for more on Network News.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. As part of its social corporate responsibilities, the Nigerian Television Authority, in collaboration with other media organizations, is leading the campaign for the welfare and security of people living with albinism. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the efforts is in line with the 2020 Ivory Aid Ball and Fundraising Committee for Albino Patients.
Findings show that people living with albinism are exposed to various degrees of health challenge, with cancer of the skin and eye on the front burner. This development has been engaging stakeholders across different fields of life to design frameworks of mitigating the problem. The latest initiative is driven by the 2020 Ivory Aid Ball, aimed at raising funds to address common health challenge with the media as critical stakeholders.
We in the NTA and the FRCN see this project as part of our social corporate responsibility, and we are also hoping that well-meaning organizations and individuals out there will key into this partnership to ensure that we give our brothers and sisters who need this assistance, particularly, especially those of them who are very vulnerable.
It is so timely because as we speak, we're having challenges meeting the bills of the National Hospital. And so this is a welcome development.
As a demonstration of commitment to the actualization of the program, a 42-member committee was inaugurated to accomplish the task ahead. Managing Director NTA Enterprises, who represented the Director General of NTA, Mr. Maxwell Logo, charged them to remain steadfast in pulling resources in meeting the health and social problems of people living with albinism. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Time now to join Obehi in our Benin Network Center for more stories. Benin. All right, Obehi, season's greetings to you.
Greetings to you too, Joseph, and thank you very much for joining us in Benin. All operating fuel stations in the Benin metropolis are open and functional as residents make the best of the Yuletide. This is an indication that the state is enjoying petroleum product efficiency. The report. A few years ago, the situation might have been more of a Yuletide undermined by petroleum product scarcity, chaotic crowd in fuel stations, and a booming black market. Not so in the current experience.
The availability is purely for the government that does it. You don't stand by any marketer to divide. And that is why there are people on ground monitoring what is going on.
The filling stations are patronized only by normal traffic, and there is petroleum product sufficiency. At this point of the Xmas season, most times we don't see petrol goods, we don't see the products. But for us to see it right now, it's really commendable.
Unlike every other year, when it's Yuletide season like this, scarcity everywhere. But right now, it's very easy, and I think it's a good one that Nigerians should maintain.
The federal government, through the Group Managing Director, NNPC, has assured Nigerians that petroleum products will be available all through the Yuletide and beyond, with hitherto shortages non-existent. Inmates of the Nigerian Correctional Service Medium Security Custodian Center, OCO, have had the opportunity to also celebrate and share in the joys of Christmas. Archbishop of the Benin Metropolitan See and President Nigerian Bishops Catholic Conference celebrates the Mass, giving the inmates an opportunity to receive the Sacred Sacrament. Agatha Egwariojo reports. Archbishop Akubeze reminded the inmates that God is always with them, despite the circumstances that brought them to the center.
All that matters clearly, beloved in Christ, is that our Lord has come to redeem you. He has come to set you free spiritually.
The Deputy Controller commended the Archbishop and the diocese for their contributions to make life easy for the inmates. Others described the annual event as beneficial.
The inmates here should go back and think of where they are and try to go away from that mistake.
We've been able to organize ourselves as an organization, putting up a crack team of lawyers who will be at the defense for those who are waiting trials.
Different societies in the diocese presented the center food items and toiletries. In Benin, Agatha Egwariojo, NTA News. And that's our contribution from Benin, Joseph. It's over to you now for the continuation of the news.
From our Benin Network Center there. The performance mandate of the ministers is to ensure the delivery of public service to the people and make governance more open and enhance credibility of governance. These views were expressed on NTA's current affairs program, Moment for Thought.
Well, one of the things that is coming out of this is that confusing situations that might lead to people thinking about conspiracies rather than realities will be cleared.
The mandates are a benchmark.
Yes.
When you took office,